The Star Wars Ultrabuild figures are forgotten gems of the LEGO world. They're so easily overlooked, but mate, there are so many bangers. So let's count down the top 10 best in this video. I have spoken about these sets in the past, but I mainly focused on the pieces within these sets. Now I want to discuss what makes these characters good from like an overall design perspective and accuracy. That's what we're going to look at today. Here we go. I want to start this video off by inducting a couple characters into the Hall of Fame. These two sets would have easily been the number 1 and 2 spots on this list, but I talk about these two on the channel all the time. So I'd rather give them like a special award, talk about them a little less, and then we're going to put the spotlight on a few lesser discussed sets. That'll keep things a little more fresh, you know? So the sets that I'm inducting are General Grievous and the Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike set. I mean, come on, they're the best. Grievous with his towering and imposing design, and all of those awesome tan pieces as well. And the Scout Trooper looking friggin' sick atop his speeder bike. These sets look fresh out of the movies. They make for sensational display pieces, and they're just beautifully designed. They deserve a spot in the Hall of Fame, but let's dive in now and start off with the number 10 spot. We'll kick things off with a set that I think just kinda gets forgotten. It's Commander Cody. LEGO did an incredible job on translating this character. Just look at the hyper-accurate head design, which arguably looks even better than the minifigure. Okay, I still love that minifigure, no hate for him, but this is pretty good. And they also just nailed the torso printing. Even some of the other printed details like here on the leg. I mean, look at that weathering. And honestly, you know, CCBS armor pieces, they translate very, very well into Clone Trooper armor. It's a match made in heaven. This really is a well-designed character and a perfect match to the source material. Yeah, even tiny little stuff here like this minifigure rapier for his antenna on the back. Why doesn't this set get more love? It's so good. Another absolute icon is the number 9 spot. It goes to the Scarif Trooper, or the Shore Trooper, or the Beach Trooper, or the Coastal Defender Stormtrooper. They have a lot of names, apparently. There's something very satisfying about the mix of colors here. A lovely sand blue alongside some tan. Even got a bit of printing on some of that sand blue. Fantastic. And then this is elegantly offset next to a small helping of dark brown. And then we got a pop of red to cap it off. Wow. It's so nice to see so many colors in a Star Wars set. You know, because so many sets are black, white, gray. It's kind of bland. And you know, that's fine, it's accurate. But a little sugar and spice like this, it pops very nicely. And he stands out from the rest. And you know, once again, look at the printing. Even just the way that some of it flows down onto this vinyl element on the waist. You know, they didn't have to put this in. It would have looked fine without it. But they did. They went the extra mile and they did it for us. Great colors, great design work. This is one of the coolest characters ever, and LEGO totally nailed it. Heck yeah. Up next is the Stormtrooper Commander. I don't know, maybe I'm just a sucker for a good classic, and there's nothing more classic than a Stormtrooper, right? That sleek white armor, that legendary helmet design, this looks so good. And they nailed the pauldron too. What I like about this is that it covers up some of the gaps in between the armor. Because, you know, sometimes the exposed CCBS limb pieces, it can look a little bit unsightly. And it can really draw your attention to the fact that this is a LEGO set and not, you know, a hyper-accurate action figure. And I think it's fair to say that sometimes you might want the action figure over the LEGO toy because, well, the action figure just looks better. But that's not quite the case here. Because yeah, thanks to this pauldron, the exposed limb pieces that make it look a little more LEGO, that's less of a problem. It makes this guy one of the most accurate toys that we got. It's easy to mistake this for, I don't know, a Hot Toys collectible figure or something. He just looks good. In the number 7 spot, we're met by a legend, Boba Fett. Sure, like all of our picks today, he's accurate and beautifully detailed. But I want to draw your attention to some of the smaller additions, like these system slopes on the legs to recreate his utility pouches. And then we've also got this magnificent cloth piece in olive green. The tattered appearance looks so good. And we've also got that Mandalorian gauntlet weaponry, making use of an older dart Lego piece. And a movable rangefinder. I mean, that's one of the selling points of any good Mandalorian, and it was one of the selling points of Boba Fett. His gadgets and gizmos. You just gotta include some of that stuff in this set, otherwise it's not gonna work. Yet Boba maintains the high level of accuracy that all of these sets have had, but he takes it that extra step. He goes the extra mile. LEGO honed in on all the essential accessories and attributes that really define the character. And it's because of that this deserves that number 7 spot. It's really good. But the number 6 spot, we're heading to a place that, well, not many of you love, but I assure you, there's some gold here. We're heading over to the sequel trilogy and we're talking about the Elite Praetorian Guard. Alright, say what you will about the sequel trilogy, but come on. A dude clad in all red armor? It's so frickin' sick. The character design here and how it's been translated into LEGO, it's dope. And man, I still remember the screams of joy from Bionicle fans when this set came out. We've been getting so many Star Wars sets with the same bland color schemes, so to get one that was almost entirely red, it was like a breath of fresh air. So the bold and bright colors are great, but I also appreciate these sweet specialized blades. They've even got room for a little lightsaber bar. And look at the cloth and how it flows down the legs. Even that sweet segmented armor piece. This frickin' slaps. And it makes for a brilliant figure that's gonna stand out on your shelf. A lot of that does come down to the colors. But it also comes down to just looking frickin' sick. We're at the halfway point now in the number 5 spot. It's one of my favorite characters, just in general. We have Darth Maul. So you might have noticed so far that every figure on this list, they've been rocking some kind of helmet. And that's because the Star Wars Ultrabuild characters with faces, they just don't work. LEGO didn't quite nail the faces on these guys. Things just don't look right. It's a little uncanny, a little creepy. I feel like it's a pretty good rule of thumb that if they have an exposed face, the figure probably doesn't work. But Darth Maul is the exception to that rule. There's just an exquisite level of accuracy here. The facial tattoos, those sick Sith eyes, the teeth. It's perfect. Not creepy at all, it's just right. And you couple that with an extraordinary play feature that lets you swing his saber, and even a nice little waistcloth, as well as some sick, specialized armor shells. Armor shells that look like more robes. Well, all of this together, you end up with a near perfect toy. This figure accomplishes what so many other sets simply failed to do. So from one Sith Lord to the next, the number 4 spot goes to Darth Vader. Now, there are 2 versions of Darth Vader. The first one, which was good, is this guy. I don't know, I think the execution of the torso is a little bit clunky. It's made up of a lot of pieces, and it separates the control panel onto one piece. Which, yeah, it works. But when we look at the second version, I don't know, it feels like a bit more of a refinement. I see it as an improvement. It just tidies it up, it doesn't make it as busy. Now he's also got a sweet belt, and this little chain around his cloak. It's a small touch, but it's accurate, and I think it adds a lot. The set also comes with 2 cloth elements. One around his legs and the other along his back. The original version, well, it only had 1 cape. And this version lets you take off the helmet and expose Anakin's face. See, this set just has a lot of quality of life improvements. I think it's nice that LEGO has recognized the faults of the original set and they've gone, okay, well, how can we improve it? This is impressive. Most impressive. The final 3. In this spot, we have a set that annoyingly is a little bit pricey if you want to pick it up today. It's the Range Trooper. Nothing is more badass than a stormtrooper decked out in a furry coat. I mean, these pieces are so unique because they actually have the slightest bit of extra texture to them. You can see it if you look a little bit closer in this image. See, I'm glad that LEGO used a different type of cloth to their traditional fabric pieces. This one tiny thing just really ups the accuracy. And you know, if there's one thing Star Wars fans love, it's an accurate toy. You know, the Range Trooper in general just has a real aura to him. He's dripping with cool. It only makes sense that the toys for him are gonna look absolutely epic. And thankfully, LEGO just nailed this design. I'd argue that this set is probably the best translation of any Stormtrooper variant that LEGO has ever made. So clean, so cool. Well, I say that, the number 2 spot maybe takes the cake as the best Stormtrooper variant. Although, you know, I'd probably say that this toy is tied with the Range Trooper for being the best. We have the Death Trooper, another design that is just oozing with awesome. Switching up that classic white that we normally see on a Stormtrooper and changing it for black. And now they've given us this tall, imposing, black armored Space Knight. Oh, so cool. Now, yeah, I'd spoken before about how it was getting a little bland to have the same old Star Wars sets in the same colors of, you know, black and gray and white. But if there's one set that makes this black look incredible, it's this guy. Because look at how it contrasts with the different shades of green on the helmet. And hey, we've got the return of more vinyl pieces for pauldrons. That always looks top notch. Everything about this is incredibly accurate. You know, much like Commander Cody at the start of this list, this is another figure that gets forgotten and kind of overshadowed by other sets. But it's good. It's really good. This ticks all the boxes of being accurate, looking dope, and it's a fan-loved character. He's the best. But okay, the real best goes to the number 1 spot. The award for the best Star Wars Ultrabuild set, it goes to the one and only K2SO. So look, we've seen Stormtroopers, clones, even Mandalorians. They all look great in this style. The CCBS armor is a brilliant representation of what these characters wear. But the robotic look of a droid, with their stocky but sturdy armor plating, you know, that is a perfect fit for this system. The Technic elements that make up sections of the limbs and the body, that so effectively captures the detail and the greeble designs that we see on K2SO. And heck, the fact that this older toy from 2016 actually looks better than the current 2025 remake, well, you know you've got a winner. Just the head alone, this is so much cooler. The weathering, the detail, the accuracy. It's better than whatever this set is doing. I really wish we'd seen more droid characters in this line of Ultrabuild figures. Because both K2SO and General Grievous, they're prime examples of how amazing it can look. I mean, just think, what if we got a battle droid that looked like this? What if we got a droidica? They would look so good in CCBS. I guess for now we have to settle for the modern system versions, which honestly are pretty cool. But I miss CCBS and the Ultrabuild system. That was fantastic. Man, I long for the alternate universe where we did get that Super Battle Droid set. This one here that was supposed to release, but never did. Oh, that looks so good. Anyway, K2SO is a real gem. The perfect example of how great Ultrabuild figures can be. But all of these sets were absolute gems. There's a lot to love. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy building, and bye for now.
McClunky.